barbecue and other things I want to do. And this is what I've got going on for you. I want to show you how I like to cook pork steaks. All right. Yeah, you can cook them out on the grill. I really like to cook them out on the grill. But this is a way that I normally cook them. One of my favorite ways to cook them. So this is about the technique. Here's pork steaks. These are rather thin, so they're going to cook a little quicker than the thick ones. But I have cooked thick ones like this before. All right. If I don't turn pork steaks into tasso, I like to cook them like this. I'll talk more about the pork steaks in a minute. Now, you may be noticing what I'm wearing. Yeah, I've got Uncle Steve's hat. I've got a Tony's shirt on. I received stuff from Tony's a long time ago. Steve sends me stuff all the time. Look, I've cooked pork steaks like this for many, many years. I've raised my family cooking pork steaks like this, usually in a cast iron skillet. But nowadays I use my grill pan. I really like to use, it's like a cast iron skillet with grid lines on it. I really like the way this works, all right? Excuse me, had a frog in my throat. You're gonna need a lid, okay? So whether you use a number 8 or a number 10 skillet, that's a 10-inch or a 12-inch skillet, that's how the numbers work. All right, you're gonna need a lid for the skillet, okay? Now, why am I dressed like this? Okay, traditionally I have always used this on them and this and this together, all right? Since Steve started sending me stuff, I don't use this as much, but sometimes I still do because I'm a big Hienz 57 fan and I like using this combo. So if you got this combo, this works. All right, but I got to tell you something. Steve's come out with a sauce. It's called the No Name sauce, and this is really, really good. And I like doing this with the smoke bomb, Uncle Steve's smoke bomb, all right? So anyway, tonight I'm gonna be using Uncle Steve's smoke bomb on the pork steaks and his, the sauce with no name, all right? And I gotta tell you, I've done it both ways. It's really good with the Tonys and the 57. Now, Steve, you know, I'm just telling people the truth. I've done it that way a long time and it's really good with Tonys and 57. But your stuff, oh, I'm not gonna say it's better. Maybe it's better, but it's different, and it's different in a very good way. In other words, with this combination here, okay, I like it with a side of potato salad. And with this combination here, I like it with a side of mashed potatoes. They're just different. I'm doing it tonight with this combo. So if you don't have any Uncle Steve's and you want to try it the way I'm making it, get you some of this Uncle Steve's sauce with no name, and get you some of this Uncle Steve's smoke bomb. All right, because it's really good. And doing it in the grill pan, I like doing that because I get the grid lines on them a little bit. They're a little bit faded once they soak in the sauce, but they're still there, and I like doing it in the grill pan. But you can use a regular skillet too. So it's about the technique. Let's talk about pork steaks, all right? Definition of a steak. Single serving piece of meat cut against the grain. We usually use steaks to talk about beef. Well, when talking about pork, we usually don't use the term steak, we use the term chop. The pork industry has always had a tough time with naming some of their meat cuts, like, you know, the pork butt. All right, it comes from the shoulder blade. Some people call it a Boston butt. A few years ago, pork industry tried to change that, start calling it shoulder roast, but people didn't know what that was. But some people don't know what the butt is because they don't know it comes from the shoulder. Pork steaks come from the pork butt, the same piece you make the pulled pork with. Yeah, the tough piece of meat that you got to cook all the way through until it gets tender like pulled pork. If you just grill pork steaks, which come from the pork butt, like you grill a pork chop, it's going to be tough, 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 tough. You kind of got to grill these low and slow. And, you know, the way we're going to do it is we're going to be simmering it in the sauce. You used to put this on the meat, simmer it in that. Now, put this on the meat, simmer it in this, all right? And you can use whatever you like. I have tried it with A1. I don't care for A1 on this recipe. I'm not a big A1 person anyway. I don't care for this. But I have tried it with barbecue sauces, various barbecue sauces. They're always really good too. That's the ones I like with potato salad as well. But generally, I use Tony's and 57. But in recent times, I've been using Uncle Steve's, and since he sent me this sauce, I've been using this sauce. So I've been wanting to do this recipe for a while. Let's get started. That's a 4.5-minute intro. Golly, this is long.
All right, well, these are rather thin pork steaks. I usually like them a little thicker, but this is what the grocery store had. And yes, I am using that styrofoam packaging that they came in as the tray to season these in. I did remove the meat diaper from the bottom. Nothing magical here. I'm just flipping them over and seasoning each side liberally with this Uncle Steve's smoke bomb and stacking them up, and they're gonna wait right there till they're ready to go in the pan one by one, So flip each side over and season them up. Now these didn't have a large fat cap on them. Sometimes if they do, that one had the largest fat cap. I will trim too much fat off of them, but these did not need trimming. All right, in that pot I've got some mashed potatoes cooking, and that grill pan is getting hot.
All right, grill pan's hot. I'm just gonna drop the pork steak in just like this to get it where it kind of all fit. And you see what we're gonna do? We're gonna grill it. Just gonna grill it.
All right, I tried to get crosshatch grid lines on here, but it didn't really work because these steaks are so thin, they kind of buckled up like fried bologna does. All right, but if they're thicker, you can get really good crosshatch grid lines on these pork steaks. Anyway, so I turned it a quarter turn there, and once it's ready to flip, you can tell because the juices pile up on it like that, and I flipped it over. And yes, I did have good grid lines up in that top corner right there, but that there in the middle where it buckled up, I didn't. Okay, once it's grilled for a while, you can pull it out. These were done at 165, but you don't have to be fully done before you pull them out because we're going to simmer them for quite some time. These thin ones only simmered for 15 minutes. If they were thicker, I'd have simmered them for at least 20 or 25. All right, but you want to simmer them. But what we're going to do now is just cook each one individually. So here's the second one in the pan, and I'm going to cook it the same way, all right? And there's another one, and this is the fourth one. It's done. It's time to squeeze on some sauce. Now, I don't even pull that one out of the pan, all right? Then I take the ones I did pull out, like that third one right there, stack it up, squeeze on sauce. Stack them up like pancakes and squeeze on sauce like syrup, all right? So there's the third one, squeeze on some sauce. And then we put on the fourth one. All right, right there, that's that first one you saw me cook, that ugly one that's all split up, and squeeze on sauce. That's okay, it still tasted good and I ate it. Now I throw in the pork drippings that were from the bottom of the bowl, cover it up and simmer it for 15 minutes.
All right, been 15 minutes. Look at that, look at that.
All right, we're gonna serve up this pork steak right here. It's going to be a fine meal. And I tell you what, that sauce with no name, oh, it makes a good gravy. I know it's not real gravy because real gravy is made with a roux. So you can call this Anjou, but you can trust Big Lou. It is good on those real mashed potatoes. Yes, those are real mashed potatoes. I peeled them, I cut them, I boiled them, I mashed them, and I'm serving them up with butter and this Uncle Steve sauce with no name.
All right, chicos. Yeah, I got some green stuff I'm eating too, but hey, I like it with mashed potatoes. The sauce on the mashed potatoes, that's better than gravy. That's why I like using Uncle Steve's no-name sauce. All right, if I was using the Hienz 57, I might do this with a potato salad maybe. All right, but it's good with mashed potatoes too. Anyway, and I was gonna show you how it's fork tender, and I too need to put the thing down, but it is fork tender. All right, and just kind of falling apart here. Cutting a piece of fat off of it. All right, it is fork tender though. Too tender too. All right, it's so good. That smoke bomb and that no-name sauce just takes us up to another level. Different from the way I've been eating it for many years, but it's good both ways. Anyway, that's how I do pork steaks in a grill pan or skillet, just like that. Season them, sear them, cook them, stack them up, put the sauce in between each layer, put a cover on it, simmer it 15 to 20 minutes. Thicker ones need to go about 20. These thin ones, good at 15.